I'm going to change my Wi-Fi real quick. Give me 1 sec. Stream will buffer for a second. All right, test. Can you guys hear me? Let's go here. Perfect. Now it shouldn't buffer anymore. Got to change that Wi-Fi. What up, Miss K, Robert, Joe, Trade Wop, Johnny? Can request my second payout at TPT 2 days in a row. Hell yeah. Hopefully, you can add a little more bit of monies to it. As long as your risk is in check, because that's a very finite game to play, where you can lose the money is just as easy. What up, IAG? Dev, Daniel, MES, Polar Bear, Wills, Gandhi. Buffer by 700. Beautiful. Yeah, so like, what the hell happened with the market? Was this just the post earnings kind of happening? And I love exactly how what we talked about yesterday played out flawlessly. What up, Yay? Where we have FOMC, we pulled back a little bit, not much off FOMC. Like we barely even moved. NQ stayed in its range the entire time. Finally broke with earnings, broke to the upside, right back to the downside, and now we're right back up. We are literally at our first target from our trade last night. That's how huge this day-to-day ended up being. So we're within 10 to 12 points. No, 10 points of yesterday's open that we traded off of. Now, RTY did get smoked a little bit. YM got smoked a little bit. But the two more important ones haven't even moved. This after hours rally is way more aggressive than it looks on this chart. It looks like it's just a little 15-minute bar. The first NQ candle was 230 points. That's why I kind of said, what do we do here with this? What up, Com? What up, Cole? Yeah, something I am a little interested in. Not much oil. Oil pretty damn extended. I would expect to consolidate right around this 110 area. Maybe even pull back a little bit. Gold, but I'm not like over eager to trade it. If we get above this 167-ish area, above all these hourly highs, I really like this. Potential hourly higher low looking to break. If you look at this structure, it looks okay. Obviously, it's in a slight downtrend. You pull out more, it's an aggressive downtrend. Reason I'm not like over eager to dive into it, because we are trading counter trend, but I'm looking for a lower time frame trade. So I am pretty interested in actually trading gold with probably a wider stop. Let me see this. Making sure all my accounts are set right. No, NQ just absolutely ripped. That's why I would love a consolidation. And crazy where we stopped. ES tagged today's highs, and we're currently consolidating. If we can continue consolidating here, get back over 190, which was the pivot high on our trade last night, then we can look at that continuation up towards like 200. Same with NQ, right around that 500 area. Got back up to 500. Now we just look for that overall break. NQ is just a powerhouse. NQ daily chart, triggering a daily buy at all-time highs. I would be shocked if we didn't go hit 550. And that's 70 points away. I'm pretty sure I've said those exact same words before, though, and we didn't get it. Doesn't have to happen during this stream. Doesn't have to happen right now. 70 points away. I would be a little shocked if we didn't get up there. What up, Ollie? Trade question. Are you scared of giving back profits so that way you don't lose the payout? Because the number one thing you don't want to be is scared of giving back profits while actively in a trade. I'm stalking gold. The one thing I'm currently trying to figure out is how I'd want to do this stop if it broke. Because you could run the stop, let's say we get in at 67, throw a stop there. There's a chance it spikes that out, or you can go under the open. But I feel like 10 points on gold is a little bit wider. This area is going to be just a really big area to pay attention to. If we reject it, shorts could play out really well. Hourly spike higher, fail this little hourly trigger, and then you look back towards the open. It's interesting, though, that oil didn't move at all, even the slightest bit on that news. I mean, it pulled back, but when you're looking at 2% pullback after today's candle, that's nothing. But I feel like the better looking chart, just on the lower time frames, for a possible setup to come is going to be gold. If these consolidate, end up setting a higher low, you can 100% look for the breaks. No, OG trade just started, but I'm watching gold, see if I want to take anything. If I get in, I'm probably just going to go in with a few micros and let it rip. Evening, Victoria. How you doing? What up, David? Yeah, trade. At that point, you just got to determine, are you willing to lose that 100 or not? Because a lot of times people will do that, try to make a little bit more. They'll lose that 100, then start tweaking a little bit. And then they end up losing like the whole 500. So it's just something you got to weigh. If you're cool with it, rock on. If not, there's no problem with getting another count or just completely not trading. What up, Robert? What up, Vish? All the earnings, were they positive? I know it's either Microsoft or Meta isn't doing too well. Meta. Yeah, Meta's down like 7%. Everything else hit, I'm pretty sure, or at least it's green. What was it? Google, Amazon, Qualcomm, Microsoft? Did Microsoft have earnings? And they just didn't move? I can always look at this. Yeah, Microsoft must have had earnings. So they just didn't even move. Something I would love, this daily chart on Microsoft, if we get out of earnings flat and it was a positive earnings, stalk that break of 427. We get over 427, I'm looking for 440. And I think it comes quick. Over that, you have a lot of room to the upside. I'm going to be paying some decent attention to the charts. YM's really struggling lately. That thing just doesn't want to move. Evening, Voltru. How does the payout and buffer work on Tradeify? Well, if you get past the payout threshold, which I believe is like 2,600 for 50K, you have the static drawdown at 50,100. And whatever you withdraw, whatever's left in your account, between that and 50,100 is your total drawdown that you have. So you always want to try to leave enough where you could lose a few trades. But also for some people, it's kind of worth it to take as much as you can if you don't get payouts often. You know what I mean? But if you're trying to keep the account alive and do well for a while, what I usually do is just I'll lower the payout amount, even if I have to take 1,700, whatever it may be, just so I can leave enough buffer and work towards another payout. What up, Robert? I'm doing wonderful, brother. How you doing? Yeah, Dev. It's my same thesis. What about oil? The hard part for me about oil is this. Can oil rip to all-time highs? Yeah, it's fucking oil. Those of you that were here in the beginning when I was trading in Discord, you know what oil can do. You know what oil is capable of. Oil just face ripped 11.5%. The indices didn't move down that much. One of these is likely going to give it up more aggressively during the overnight session, and it doesn't have to be oil. Oil can continue to hold. I mean, to be fair, they all could continue to hold. We've seen it before. I would be shocked if these held strength and oil held strength as well. Right now, it is slightly weak because it's below the open, but this isn't much of a pullback at all. 70 ticks, that thing could be there in a 2-minute candle. Like I said, I'm watching gold. I'm not in yet. I would want to see it actually get the break. Microsoft was positive. You're right. Meta was negative earnings. Okay, I bet. Yeah, I didn't pay attention to any of the earnings. To be honest, too, if I read the earnings report, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. It's like me trying to understand Mitch's gamma. Honest thoughts on Top Step. Top Step's a great company overall. Top Step's been getting a lot of flack lately because they're changing their rules. They're just changing the rules to match the industry. On a 50K account, they used to have unlimited payouts. Well, all I would do when I traded those accounts is get like 1-2 massive winning days and then just slowly trade the account to log the other days. Then they made it so you could withdraw 50% up to like 5K. And you just grow the account as much as you can up to 10K. Just trade really strong, aggressive size. And you just withdraw that. So they were a lot more trader friendly with larger payouts. Now they just match the industry. I don't hate them. I don't love them. They're okay. They're the first prop firm I used, and I believe the first one I got a payout with. But no, they're reputable. They've been around for a long time. If they're changing rules, it's likely for the betterment of the company. But no, what the industry is basically turning into is a lot of firms are very similar in their rules. It's just trading what firm you like. You heard bitches gamma? No moke. No. Yeah, they are just like every other firm. Agreed. That's why I said they're getting a lot of flack for becoming like every other firm, which I get 100%. If you were trading it and you were making 5K per account per payout, they changed it to 2K. Yeah, you're going to be pissed, rightfully so. What trades you eyeing? I'm watching gold to see if it can get over 45.67. Because I think if we get over that, there's a decent amount of upside. Even if you just want to target the upper wick, that's 11 points, which isn't crazy. But then if you start to get to the higher time frames, which the one thing that has me like, is the daily chart. This daily looks like shit. At some point, we'll set a higher low, but you got to remember, I'm just looking for a lower term trade. Looking for the 4 hour to break above this. Even if I want to short, I'd want to see an aggressive spike, maybe up to like 590s. Reject off that, give a big failure to go higher. Does it have to get there? No. That's why I'm waiting to see if it breaks. Indices in general, I think they just need to consolidate a little bit like they have been. What we could start to see, and I would honestly love, is a little bit of a rotation. I don't know if we're going to see that because obviously the earnings came out with tech. And what I mean by the rotation is what I've been talking about. RTY and YM got slammed today. Absolutely slammed. NQ is 70 points off all-time highs. ES is 40 points off all-time highs. Again, same thing as last night. Literally, we traded here last night, and we're right here. We're in the exact same spot. The rotation would simply just be these getting back up to, let's say, RTY even 2765s, YM even up to 49 270s, because that would start to give us, if you were bearish on the 4-hour chart, you could look for a lower high up in this area around this resistance, maybe even right around here. And I think there's a lot of opportunity there, but those charts are weaker, so we do need to note that. Dev, when markets are at all-time highs, I just trail my position. I'm not going to sit there and try to snipe the absolute top and sell it. And you're going to miss profits. You're not going to execute perfectly. We're at all-time highs. There's no support and resistance up there. You can use psychological numbers, or you can just trim in certain intervals, add on pullbacks. There's a lot of different ways to trade it. For me, I'm just catching what I can. If the market keeps going after that, it keeps going after that. If I catch a long on, let's say, ES, and it goes up to all-time highs at 220s, and I get out, and then it goes to like 270s tomorrow, is what it is. I caught a nice trade. So just managing expectations and just seeing kind of where you think the chart can go. But no, at all-time highs, I just like trailing stops, long structure. Yeah, I like referencing oil for that as well against the indices. What would that stop be? So it'd be 8 points. First target could be, I mean, Dream World would be like 90. Oil's trying to be a little bit weaker, which would help the thesis. I'm going to try a little bit of gold. One thing I will say, every time I trade gold, gold hates me. Don't know why. Don't know what I did to it, but gold does not like me. I took a little bit, got in at 65. You can wait for the break of 67. It gives more conviction overall, but I'm going to get in now. So I'm going to take this position. What did I get in? 65. And then I did 57. So I'm just using the open as a stop. If it pulls down, hits the open, oh well. If you want smaller risk to reward, you can take 1.6 right here. That'd be like first overall target for me. I like the 90 area though. Like Dream World for me would be that. So I might just rock with that. All right, let me catch up on chat a little bit. What does gold reflect again? Like NQ, ES, YM? No, gold used to be slightly correlated with the indices, but it completely decoupled in the past few months. It completely detached from it. It used to trade, if NQ was bullish, gold would be pretty close to it. Now they do, gold does whatever it wants, which I'm happy about because it gives us a whole nother asset to trade. The indices could be weak, could be strong, whatever, and gold will do its own thing. So it gives us a whole nother name to look at, similar to like oil. Yeah, I'd say I'm in probably 2 points early, which I'm cool with. But if we get over 67, that's where I'm really looking for a potential larger break. Big Mike, to go back to the BDH, I can't tell you that because I've never been to the BDH. You're looking for Jake, who's our morning show. I'm the night show. I'm Ron, not Jake, but I've never been there. No, GC definitely doesn't correlate with OJ. I can tell you that. Oh, I have the 4 hour chart up twice. If we reject 67 in this broader area, end up getting a 15-minute fail to go lower, this could actually be a decent short entry if you're more bearish than bullish on this. I'm just looking for a break above this to give us that push higher. If the indices do pull back more aggressively, we may see oil or gold do that as well, especially if oil is slightly stronger. I'm willing to take the stab, and then we'll see. If it doesn't work, we'll see if something else gets it. Trade WAP, I guarantee you I don't have a big enough following to be on that. That show's grown so much that they usually just have bigger traders on, which is what it is. Yeah, Victoria, me trading gold, usually that means my stop is going to get hit. Don't know what it is. I can't catch gold. Gold is like my kryptonite. We'll see if it works. OG, anytime you see this on my screen, I'm in something. Brian, gold. You should probably know now because I've talked about it. Do you ever trade option spreads? I used to trade option spreads a lot. Not much anymore. I usually just trade naked options. Option spreads can be good, especially in volatile times. For me, if I'm going to catch it, I'll usually just find nakeds that I can trade and trade those. Worst case, I'll just take fewer contracts. Indices are pulling back a little bit. Let me look at the higher time frames. So these two are definitely weaker. This did fail above today's highs. So far, NQ strong. We didn't spike the high on this hourly, which is good, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. So what could kind of happen is if we do start to reject, we could see something like this, where it starts to set a lower high here of that resistance, and then it goes back towards the open. I don't love how that 5 closed. That's a tiny bit better, but not much. We'll see how the 15 closes. As long as it holds this area, the trade's fine. But if it starts to pull back to the open, I'll expect to stop. Pet it until tell it it's pretty. I don't know if that works with gold. I know it works with oil. The more you hype up oil, the more it rips. Stop loss is 57. So at the open, take profit is 590. I may trim along the way, but for now, that's like what I would love to see gold test. Yeah, cool. That's why I said I might get in a little bit early. If we get above the 67, I love it. I love this chart a lot for even a potential like shorter term push. While we hold below it, we're just in the range, which we're pretty used to in Asia. Something being range bound. We deal with that for at least an hour and a half each day. And what's the dollar doing? Yes, looks good for a short. Yeah, it's in a little 5-minute downtrend on this kind of scale. You zoom out, obviously made a more aggressive push, but it could easily fade this if it wants to. If we start seeing more selling pressure, especially with YM still near the open, these can easily drag back down to retest like the end of day highs. What was that, like FOMC high? Yeah, the FOMC high around 68. Last time you went to bed, or you took an Asia trade, you fell asleep, and then it missed by 4 ticks. Welcome to the Asia session, brother. Welcome to the Asia session. It does that quite a bit. No, if I do that, I'll usually set my limits a little bit lower than I actually want them, just that way it can fill a little bit easier. What up, Bugs? Yeah, the indices are looking slightly weak on this 15-minute. I'm interested to see how it closes in 7 minutes. Because if it pushes back higher, it could be a really nice possible 15-minute short-term low. And if it doesn't, it pushes lower, it could get pretty weak. Where are you guys trading right now? I can honestly see the indices going either way. Yeah, Bugs, that was his last FOMC, right? I feel like this FOMC was pretty transparent though, because the last 5 haven't done anything. Every FOMC we've had in the past year, people have been freaking out. Oh my god, we're going to see some big move, and it's been flat 90% of the time. How do you correlate the dollar with gold? I haven't looked at those two, but I have no clue. If it has a correlation, let me know. But it's not attached to it anymore, and it hasn't been in 50 years. So I don't think there's too much of a correlation there. The only Captain Lasagna. Fire name. That's why I'm kind of staying away from the indices for a minute, because they made this large move, let it digest it, and then look for a trade. I do love how NQ has not budged at all. This thing is holding up really well, especially when you look at these two. Well, mainly YM, which is overly weak. RTY is like in between, and then ES is slightly behind NQ, where it's still decently away from the open, but had a little bit more of a pullback there. Yeah, Robert, I could look at DXY. I just don't know how they personally correlate together. There's a chart you can look at that shows you the percentage correlation between assets. I would have to find it. What up, Omnum? YM's been getting slaughtered lately. Absolutely slaughtered. RTY got the heat of it a little bit the last 2 days. Other than that, though, it was holding up pretty well. I think the YM's now 1,500 points off all-time highs. So it's not even close. Oh, 2,000. Yeah, so we can make a 5% move, and then the YM would finally be hitting all-time highs again. Chris is trading oil in the indices. Nice. You long or short indices? Just curious. Chris, what do you mean the more they print, the higher it will go? Are you talking about the dollar? Long NQ, beautiful. Gold looks good. If I get stopped on this trade, I do not care. I would take it again without a problem. Yeah, Robert, if I knew about a correlation between them, I would tell you 1,000%. I just don't. I might look into it after stream just to figure it out. No, I'm in longs. I got in slightly early. I like them a lot over 567s. If we hold below it, I can see a short thesis set up, especially since the hourly did spike slightly higher. It's just if we hold the 15-minute close a little bit stronger in the next minute and a half, I love the chart. If it pulls back, sits in a range for a little bit longer, is what it is. I'd be looking for more of just a broader pullback on the 4-hour. I'm not looking at the gold daily chart saying this is the most bullish chart in the world. Just on the lower time frames, I think there's potential. We're fighting this 65 area hard on gold. Steve, you saying within a day or two, YM would be at all-time highs? Is that what you're talking about? I want to look at the monthly charts because we have the monthly close in 2 days. Gold monthly looks like shit either way. Weekly locked in that lower high pretty aggressively early this week. We'll have to see how this closes. See if it holds this area over here around 500 to like 520s where it's prior all-time highs. If it loses that though, gold's in a lot of trouble. But no, another reason I'm looking at gold is the daily support right here. If it does break this, I'd be looking all the way down towards 4400s. But I'm willing to take a stab off this plus what the lower time frames look like. And then these monthlies should have recovered pretty well. If the monthlies are going to close strong, and this is why I love looking at the end of the month. Obviously, ES and NQ, the most bullish monthly candle you'll ever see. RTY is very close at closing at new all-time highs. If it wants to make that push, it can easily go back up to 830, which is 90 points from here. YM is the one I want to pay attention to. Last month's high is like 370s. If we close above that, this chart looks great for all-time highs. That's just going to be a battle in the next 2 days, if we can get up there or not. Cole, typically anytime between 8 p.m. Eastern and like 8:30, you'll start to see volatility kick in. Steve, YM could go, I wouldn't say all-time highs in 2 days, but in like a week. If it made that move, I wouldn't be like, holy crap, that's insane. If we get a weekly close back above let's say 49,000, 49 ones, you have a weekly failure to go lower, then all you really need to do is get back above that 49.55 area, and you can see a straight shot towards all-time highs. Am I saying it's going to happen in the next 3 days? No. What up, Evan? How you doing? Is Trump currently yapping? I also turned on Twitter notifications for First Squawk. Probably one of the worst things I've ever done. I've gotten 500 notifications today from that. I mean, you get every little bit of stock market news out there, but holy hell, my phone doesn't stop. No, Timmy, he's always yapping. Anytime he can, Trump is yapping. At the moment, it's basically, do we lose 61 62s or get over 67s? If we lose 61 62, we'll likely retest the open. If we get over 67, the stop will probably be a fever dream. And we should at least get up towards like 77, 78s. Evan, I'm doing wonderful. I'm always doing good. Even if I have a bad day, I'll find a way to be good. Life could be a lot worse. Short on Bitcoin. Also, LFG, if I'm in NQ, my first target's all time highs. I would feel delusional to not be targeting that if I'm in NQ. We're this close. I mean, 70 points is nothing. That's a 70-point move to get there. Since we opened an hour and a half ago, we rallied 292. I think we can get 70 more without it being crazy. That's just where I would be focused on if I was personally in it. Thoughts on Bitcoin? I haven't even looked at Bitcoin lately. The weekly consolidation makes sense. We're sitting right below this prior weekly pivot and this little weekly wick. Is that an inside bar? Yes. Technically like a double top-ish on the lower time frames. What you want to see is it hold 74, 880s, just this general area. If it holds that, it can make a break. You want to see how it closes in the next 24 minutes. It really needs a strong push for a stronger daily close. I don't have like a hell yeah, I'm bullish, hell yeah, I'm bearish on this. If we get back below like 75,000, I think it can go lower towards 71s. If we get above 78.5s, I think it goes up towards 86. It's just in one of those spots where it can go either way. Trade, wasn't the bank holiday today? Like not today when market opens for Asia, but like yesterday. Yeah, Steve, it's just when and where is it gonna, if it plays that game of catch up, like when and where is it going to? So you have to start looking at the charts, looking at the 4-hour, daily, hourly, see does it really correlate to make sense for it to make that move? And when it does, I'll be looking along YM. If there's a possible 5% move on the Dow Jones, I'm going to be stalking YM names and just the YM chart in general to see what looks the best. Timmy, I'll agree. He is a world-class yapper. Gare, H is HAI like the stock, or did you type high weird? I'm trying to figure out what you're trying to say there. Wait, Kurt, who are you talking about? 'Cause all I see in chat is commie fraud fake, couldn't speak an entire paragraph. I don't even know who that's about. Gold, check. Weekly and daily time, previous pattern, previous below pattern. Oh, you're talking about like a broader H playing out? It could, but that would mean we would break this resistance, get all the way back down here. I would expect some type of resistance or support around here, which is what I'm looking for the slight rally off of. If it plays out, cool. I don't know the previous pattern you're quite talking about, because I don't see this kind of daily pattern anywhere on gold, no matter where I'm looking. Yeah, I don't see it anywhere. Maybe here, but that's a completely different structure. So I don't know. Okay, so yesterday was only Japan holiday. Today is China, Japan, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan, Vietnam, Indonesia, South Korea. Oh, that's good to know. Why are you bullish on the YM? The daily looks horrible. Well, I haven't said the daily looks horrible. YM looks like shit, no matter what way you look at it. This chart looks terrible. However, zoom out a little bit. Let me take one of these bad boys. Actually, I'll just make a new one because I'll delete it after. If I go like this and you focus on this area a little bit, I would say that's a decent support area. Like a little, like just slightly decent. It's only held aggressively since October of 2025. I don't expect it to just slam through that. And what I'm looking at, I'm not saying the YM looks bullish. What I'm saying is the other indices are currently strong. NQ and ES are both sub 1% away from all-time highs. RTY is retesting the prior all-time high consolidation. If it does get buying pressure, it'll be back at all-time highs within a week, most likely. Now, if these three indices all push, the YM should play catch up. What I mean is the strength should start coming into the market because if all the indices are going to trend, they're going to want to move together. For that to happen, the YM will get some buying pressure. I'm not saying it looks immaculate right now, but I'm saying if the buyers do step in on it, there's a chance that it has a lot of upside towards all-time highs, as every other index has slammed through all-time highs, and this one's not even close. I'm not saying I'm overly long on the YM. It's just something I'm keeping an eye on. Digital, just the earnings. A lot of big tech crushed. Like AMD's up 3%, Amazon's up 3%, Google's up 7%, Qualcomm's up 14%. So a lot of big tech's pushing right now because of earnings. I wouldn't say it was doing nothing, Voltru. Did it make all-time highs? No. But the YM still rallied 5,000 points. That's not too shabby. Is NQ double that move percentage-wise? 1,000%. Is it relatively weaker? Yes. And I won't argue that at all. I've said it multiple times. I'm just saying if we hold this daily chart, this would structurally be more of the weekly potential higher low If, big if, we can get the daily back above this 49,040, what do you have? You start to set a weekly failure to go lower. If that sets up, we broke below this, the sellers couldn't hold us below. When what should happen doesn't, you start to anticipate the opposite. And then you look for that break of like 49.5s to potentially long towards all-time highs. A lot of ifs there, and it's a lot of what could happen, not what should happen, because it isn't set up yet. Oh, May 1st it will be slow. Okay. I'm not worried about it. Gold target for me, I would love to see 590. I most likely will trim along the way. This is like dream world, what I would just want to hold until. If it does get strength, gets over 67, gives us that continuation overall, I would love that. But I don't hate targeting the intraday highs up around 77, 78. Being new to options, how long do you wait for a possible position? Next day. I don't get in right at the open because you're going to have a big IV decrease. And that's just how the option is going to work. Something, especially like, let me check exactly who reported today so I can be correct on it. Boom. All right. So, a good example Microsoft. I guarantee you this chart had a $30 at least expected move. If it opens flat, you're going to see all of the options contracts get slaughtered by a decay. If it does, then these contracts will start to be a little cheaper. Wait like 15 to 30 minutes. They should be somewhat back to normal price unless the chart is just going like exploding. But that's what you typically want to do. I just don't get in pre-earnings because it's overly expensive. For example, let me look at, I'm just pulling up Microsoft options really quick so I can see roughly what the current price was at market close. All right. So here, Microsoft 430s. So $7, $6 out of the money. We're $12 a piece. So about $1,200. Those contracts are now going to have 1 day to expiration, be $6 out of the money if we open right where that blue line is. They're probably going to lose 80% of their premium tomorrow, maybe like 70%. But it's just going to be a massive IV crush. Now, if you get something like Qualcomm, stuff like this, I usually don't trade. Qualcomm's up 14%. I don't love trading off of a massive gap like that. I'd rather just wait till the daily structure sets up again. If you caught this overnight, congratulations. Stuff like this, I'm just not even interested in trading for a few days. Because you're going to have a massive gap. You're going to have a lot of price discovery up here in the shorter term. You just got to see where the support resistance is overall. All right, gold. Let's see if we can get the break. Yeah, Chris, today was a lot. And then we have Apple tomorrow as well. What up, cowboy? How you doing? Hell yeah, kamikaze. Beautiful trade, brother. Beautiful trade. Let me make sure I pull that up. All right. We're testing above that 67 area. Now we got to see if we can hold it. If we hold it, I think we should be perfectly fine without have to worrying about anything. Gare, I don't know if you're asking me if that's my TP, but no, mine's gonna be 5090, not 4606. If you want to target 4606, target 4606. Ain't nothing wrong with it. If this chart rips, I think it can rip. Gold, once it gets back over like 4600s, 4620s, we have room up towards 700s. Am I going to hold this trade for that? No. I can already tell you I'm not, unless I somehow have one contract still running. What up, Bullish? Jay, I'm in gold. Blowing on my screen trying to bum gold. Robert, I just need you to go buy as much as you possibly can. Trade, it's going to be the same as yesterday and most other trades. When the structure fully tells me to. If we get a 15-minute rally and then a consolidation, maybe even back above like 77, then I'll look to move it to break even. One thing I'll repeat over and over when I get asked it, I'm sized for this loss. I do not care if this loss hits at all. I've had trades, multiple trades, go up 1.5, possibly even 2R, and then come back to either break even or stop me out. I'm cool with it. But no, if you personally want to move your stop, brother. Jay, I'm sure there's a lot of gold mining companies out there. The main ones I do is just GC and GLD. GLD for options, obviously. If anyone has any companies they look at while gold's doing well, and here's a good example. If I'm trading oil and I want to trade options, what I'm going to look at is this basket of names down here: XLE, CVX, Exxon, USO, and sometimes BP. And I'll find the relative strength in there. I would love to have a basket of names for gold that are like that, but I don't know of any off the bat. Past my fund of futures, hell yeah. One long MNQ 455. Where are we at? Nice trade. Of course, Jay. You were long NQ at 6:45 Eastern time with a stop at the 30-minute bullish gap. Don't quite know what that is. But 6:45 here. No, here. Okay. I don't know what the 30-minute bullish gap is. I'm assuming it's ICT, but I don't really know. I didn't get stopped out by literally one tick and then it ran. It's one of those trades you kind of just get lucky on. Adrian, what it does is you had a hell of a stop. Sometimes your stop is too good and you get front ran or wicked out by one tick, two ticks. It's happened to me more times than I could count. And it's going to happen more times than I can count again. But it just means you have a decent stop loss. Now, next time you might just need to put it a little bit lower. Luckily, yours held. So you had the greatest stop loss in history if you held by one tick. And one of my favorite quotes in trading is, and it works for most people. It helped me a little bit because I used to always enter really early on trades. Sometimes I'll still enter. You'll get a little pullbacks, whatever. It's I forget what he said. It's like typically the greatest entry is where you want to put your stop loss. And I feel like for a lot of people, that would hit home. Yeah, fair value gap. Okay. Isn't a fair value gap basically just when like this chart rips and it doesn't consolidate and then it's like somewhere in here? I don't know exactly, but I feel like it. And this alert up here, I do have my computer muted, so you guys won't go deaf when that triggers, luckily. But that is 20% off the lows. If you did take NQ, I think we're all-time highs. Yeah. Beautiful. There's 70 points. Congratulations. Are options more stressful? I know how they work, but I've only traded futures. Yes and no. I mean, it depends how you trade options. For me, no. And the number one way I size options, this would help a lot of people. Let's say I get in a chart and I look at it just because as you trade options, you'll understand what your typical stop will be based on the chart, like percentage wise. If I'm planning on a 30% stop, I'm going to size my position for 40, possibly 45% loss. So even if it gets down there and the structure still holds, it's never something I'm stressed about. And I also like to avoid 0 days for the most part, unless I absolutely love the chart. It just depends, like I said, fully how you trade them. The hard part about options is you have to pick the right timing to enter, the right strike, and the right expiration. If one of those is off, your contract could get crushed. So there's a lot more thought into it. Just made $1,100 on NQ. I funded, passed my Apex eval. Beautiful. Let's go. That's awesome. Love that for you. What y'all are doing with 365 is insane. Thank you. I mean, we appreciate the support. I don't know if y'all saw, we hit the 31,000 subscribers. Insane number. There's NQ 20% off the lows. You know what's going to be rough? Is there's people who went heavy short. I almost guarantee it overnight. And we're going to gap into all-time highs. If you're a bear and you see that little end of day sell-off, you were probably seething looking at this candle right here. Oh, wait, hang on. No one told me that I didn't change my chart. If I ever don't do this, let me know, because I just realized y'all can't even see the top part of the charts. Now you can see it. But there's probably so many people that shorted this hourly close. You look at the 4 hour, this 4 hour, lower high, failed breakout, just below all-time highs. And we're going to gap into all-time highs and just face rip. That's going to be painful for a lot of people. And FEG is just an imbalance where there was a displacement, aka strength. Kind of understand that. Told my wife we watching a movie and I put the stream on TV. Hi, Robert's wife. You think it dumps or keeps squeezing? I'm not shorting this. I'm not shorting this at all. I don't have the slightest interest in shorting it. If you want to short the indices, look at YM. YM's ass. This chart sucks. Aren't we at all-time highs? Yes. NQ just broke all-time highs and hit 20% off the lows. So NQ's new all-time highs. ES is not there yet. ES still has a bit to go. She's struggling a little bit. Oil's not moved a lot. We need to lose the session lows, which is around 107.59. I don't know the correlation between gold and oil. I just know the indices. If they're overly bullish, gold will follow a little bit because it has slight correlation, but it's not overly correlated. Yeah, NQ all-time high. YM trying to make new lows on the session. What a wild divergence we're living in. Do you trade multiple sessions or just one? Jay, I love trading. I love everything about trading. If a chart looks great, I'll trade. Even though I end stream usually like 9:30 to 10:30, there's days where I will be staring at the charts, or at least not staring at them. Like I'm not just glued to the screen, but I'll be watching charts looking for trades until Allen's stream, which starts at 1 a.m. So that's 3 extra hours after my 3-hour stream where I'm still just watching charts, seeing if there's setups available. If there's a setup on a chart, I'll trade it. The only time I don't really trade that often on futures is going to be New York Open. So NQ just made all-time highs, and Asia session isn't even fully open yet. I wonder if that opens and we just go. It could also be the opposite because we just spiked yesterday's highs, last week's highs, whatever. If Asia session starts pushing us lower, could get ugly. One thing I will say, because I know someone's going to ask. Someone already asked if I'm looking for a short. I am not shorting any index as the NASDAQ breaks new all-time highs for the 5th time in the past 2 weeks. Not doing it. I would rather take a loss on longs the entire session than try to short that. Yeah, Asia session's open in 2 minutes. Gare, if you see this P&L tool, well, this trade tool on my screen, I'm in a trade. That's the easiest way to know it. If this is on my chart, I'm in a trade. If it's aligned with the recent price action. If it's like back here, that means I either already did well in a trade or I got stopped out in a trade. Appreciate you showing up, stock market baby. All right, MES. Since we're waiting for gold to do a little more something, I'm going to dive into exactly how I pick my options contracts. And there's one good example I could use. I'm going to bring it up for the 952nd time, but it's going to be NVIDIA. Actually, do I want to do NVIDIA? NVIDIA wouldn't be great for expiration, but it'll be good for the overall contract choice. Yeah, Robert, we hit it. The way I trade options, there's going to be 2 principles that you follow. One is going to be picking the strike price. The strike that I want is going to start from being slightly out of the money. When we were looking to long NVIDIA, we were looking for the break over 202. Okay, where were we looking for the move to? 210. I want my strike somewhere within that because it'll be slightly out of the money. And then by the time I'm out of the trade, it'll be in the money. That's when you're going to see the largest return on the overall Greeks. Because then you have not IV working with you. You have extrinsic value turn into intrinsic. And then you also have delta compounding along with gamma. When you look at this, though, I picked the 205s. They were 19, 20 cents. So it was crazy cheap. Obviously, it was 0 days. And you want that to start out of the money and then work into the money. That's where you're going to see the largest return. For time-wise, I want the move to happen within half of the time allotted within for the trade to work. If I think, all right, NVIDIA is going to 220 by next Friday, then I'm going to want to strike 1 week past that, so twice the time, so I don't have to worry about theta. If I think it's going to 220 by Wednesday, maybe I want to pick like Mondays, So you go pick Fridays. You want to go somewhere in there. So you want to pick an expiration where you still have extra time allotted. Oh, did we hit? Oh, well, if anyone trimmed at the 77 area, beautiful, beautiful. I didn't even know because of chat. Yeah, y'all go short this. Yeah, if anyone's shorting this, I just feel bad for you. Yeah, MES. So TLDR, you want to pick a contract that is either at the money or slightly out of the money, and you're seeing the chance of it going in the money as the trade works out. And then for your expiration, you typically want the move to happen within half the expiration allotted on the contract. Like if you get in 0 days, you really need that move to happen before the last 2 or 3 hours of the market, or else you really fight theta. Let's see what oil's doing. Oil, quick little dump there. Let's see if this can hold with the Asia Open. Trim to 80s, beautiful. That's why I always say, especially, it's unfortunate that happened while I was yapping, but oh well. I'm going to wait till the volatility chills out, and then I'm going to reassess the chart, see if I need to move the stop at all. For now, I'm going to leave it. What was that overall move? About 2R. Did I get filled? Okay, I got kicked out on one of my accounts. So technically I did get trims. But only one. I still got another one running. Don't worry. Yeah, MES. And that's where a lot of people struggle, is picking the strikes and the expirations. Because if you going farther out of the money to get cheaper contracts, doesn't make sense. What too many people do is they'll try to trade a name, like let's say Tesla. Tesla has expensive ass contracts because it's a $400 name that can move 10% in a day. Never go, like if you're looking for a move towards 390s and those contracts are too expensive for you, don't go to 410s to get a cheaper contract. Find a different chart to trade. Or learn how to trade spreads on a margin account overall. You just never want to extend the expiration or the strike to give yourself a cheaper price. Soul says, I'm just exited gold for 2.7K. Sorry, I started reading that and then I saw that message. Hell yeah, BM Fly. Hell yeah. And if I missed y'all's questions, whatever, feel free to throw them in. Y'all blew up chat when gold started ripping. The only reason I knew it was ripping because of you guys. I'm very bad at holding the trade for long. What should I do? Short little TLDR example that I like to do. If I'm in gold in this exact trade, let's say I'm in 3 micros and I want to hold till 590s. We get up to the 576 area and you just get this urge to trim, or you see a push like this and you just get this urge to trim. I like to trim 2 off and then try to hold the last one. Execute on the last one because it's a lot easier than holding for 3 whole contracts or the whole position. Because most of the time it's just fear of your profits disappearing. And it's just lack of confidence overall in your strategy, which is fine. Or confidence in your execution. Those grow with time in the market. So you want to take off some profits. If you feel the urge to trim, if I feel the urge to trim at all in this trade, I'll trim without a question. I'll be honest, if I wasn't yapping looking at something else, I might have trimmed a little bit, but I'm holding. We'll see how the trade goes. And it's just lower the position size as much as possible and then focus on execution. Don't worry about P&L. Most of the time it's looking at P&L and then that's kind of where you start getting out. Just tuned in. Did I hear a Greek? Yeah, Mitch, I was just talking about picking like options expirations. By the way, the Greek bad mama jamma gamma whatever, all the Bama words. He's on 6 a.m. tomorrow. So he is back. And that could be a really good topic for you to dive into, Mitch. What helps you like pick your strikes? Are you break even? Could go break even. My problem is with this, and it is simply lack of trading this chart. If this was a yes, I would throw a stop right here. Since this is gold, I might move it up to like here. Because I know gold can be volatile, gold can be wicky. I haven't traded enough to know exactly how volatile or wicky it can be. So I'm going to slide the stop up slightly, but I'm not going to move it aggressive right now. If we break this high, I'll go break even. Because the issue here is when we get this big volatility spike, if we end up getting a pushback lower, even if it's a little wick, it can come down, slam the open and hold. Or slam the entry and hold. SoCal. It's just confidence. There's times where I'll hold a trade too long. Yesterday, technically, I let the runners trail back to break even. It happens. You learn from it, look back on it. Am I overly ecstatic about letting it pull back to break even on runners? No. Do I think my execution could have been slightly better? Yeah. I'll work on it. I'm not perfect. Gold about to do an NQ tonight. AXP. I know this isn't what you mean, but if gold did an NQ where it just face ripped, I would be content. I would be rather content. Let me check this. What is this account at? No, change this one. Changing to make sure I don't mess up any consistencies or anything on any accounts. That just happened to me with gold, but I was so lucky that my entry was risk within my plan, even though I was way oversized. Gold's one thing I definitely won't oversize in. There's times I'll oversize a little bit in ES because I know the structure very well. I'm not there yet on gold. I can't wait for YM over the next like 48 hours to get a 700 point move and get us right back up to where we were before. And that chart just looked phenomenal. What's the 2 minute doing? Rejecting a little bit. The 1 minute's consolidating. We're just fighting the New York highs right now, which is what we're currently in a battle with. Remember, I did get filled out on one account, so I did lock in some profits, even though it doesn't show it on this. That's why I'm fully content just holding. Joe, that is why I set my risk parameters on evals. Like on the Lucid account, I will trade or I'll set my parameters to kick me out at 15, 20 in profit on the 50% consistency. So I can't break that rule. So I don't really like screw myself over with it. Yeah, David, I watch all these back to get like clips and good moments from them. And some of the stuff that goes on in chat or just in general makes me laugh. Hold or break even. That's up to you. Yeah, NQ all time high. We talked about it. If y'all caught it off us talking about it, beautiful. Now you just got to see where you want to target. NQ is clean open skies. I mean, you pick where you want to look for trims. But we talked about all-time highs back down here. Does it suck I didn't trade NQ? A little bit. I got to quit being a little bitch on NQ. But that's 128 points straight from last week's highs. Those of y'all that caught it should be having yourselves a wonderful night. Watch CL dump to hell 100 target. It could. Oil could easily pull back. You're slamming into this prior daily consolidation. If we start to pull back, I'd look at like 106, and then you have room all the way down to 105 or 101.5. Oil could easily go back to here within the next 24 hours. Am I saying it's going to do that right now? No. But it could. Just like gold could pull back to our entry price as well. You're targeting 27,783s on NQ? Brother, if you're targeting there, I hope you hold it. I hope it gets there, and I hope you're still holding some. Trade rate down for anyone else. It's not down for me, but I'm not actively trying to execute on it. So it could be down, and I just don't know. Let's go, trade. Love it. Beautiful. Glad you catch $100. Appreciate you, Robert. Buying NQ shorts here. Cowboy, you're shorting? Barely missed that one. Yeah, it's unfortunate. There will be more. I mean, we've caught, this is what, the third one of these this week. They come. And that's why I always say never worry about missing a trade. They come every single day. Out of 4 days this week, we had one day where we took some losses, and that's it. And then we went DGen hours on it, took another loss. I do IWM to 270 tomorrow. Mitch, isn't it? Oh, you want more bearish. Because isn't IWM? Yeah. Mitch, we need you on the bull side for a little bit. I will say, RTY doesn't look wonderful. She's struggling. Same with YM. If it gets above this 750 area, that's where upside comes into play. I would love for ES and NQ to consolidate just a little bit. These play a bit of a game of catch up, and then we just rotate throughout the overnight between the 4 indices. That would be like flawless. Have a good night. See you later. Yay. Jay, holding it overnight on evals, I have no problem with as long as the chart agrees with it. I'll set OCOs where I want them and just let the trade go at times. Now let's see. I'm going to see where I got filled out so I can mark it on the chart. I got 78.5 fill. So my one account got filled there. You get the vibe on a full port short, brother. I ain't shorting shit. If shorts go, shorts go. But I ain't shorting shit. Full port my shorts is your gamer tag. I could see that, Mitch. I could see you rocking that. One thing I'm going to watch is how ES reacts to this high right here. Because we still have YM fighting the open. It's not out of the woodwork yet. RTY is fighting last week's lows now, which it needs above desperately if it wants continuation. And then ES is still between last week's high and yesterday's highs. So just something to pay attention to. I'm going to move stops to 60 on the contracts I have. Just in case it does pull back more. Yeah, Tito's. Agreed. There's trades every single day, and we prove it. I mean, there's days where every single session we do, someone catches something. Some will take stops, is what it is, part of trading, but there's trades every single session. Missing one trade in one session isn't going to kill anybody. I'm glad we're actually moving tonight, though. I was worried when we were going into the open that we were going to remain flat and consolidate, but then we got the little tech pop, which helped us out tremendously. Did anyone short or did anyone long the open when it opened? What helped me get in wasn't after hours OP because that's all the way down at 56. We just have a decent resistance at 4, 5, 6, 7. And if you look on, let's say the 15, you can see how well we respected this today. It was last night's pivot low. So in this entire area, it was the low from April 26th as well. This is like the pivot. If we get back above that and hold above that, I lean more bullish on gold for the short term, which is exactly why I was willing to take it. Nice, Mitch. think I already said see you later, yeah, but you're probably already gone. Is it still good to get into NQ shorts? I don't know if that's a troll or like if you're actually looking to, but you won't catch me shorting. NQ could sell off 300 points here, and I wouldn't short it. I just don't have interest in shorting. I would rather get stopped trying a long 3 times than take a short today. It's just not that day. We're at all-time highs. No interest. Cowboy, we all wish we were long NQ right now. Some are, and I'm living vicariously through you guys. So you're stubborn. I am very stubborn, Bam. Very stubborn. I don't think I would call it stubborn shorting this chart. I think a better word for it from my perspective would be dumb. But that's just because we're breaking all-time highs. And by my trading strategy, I think it's dumb to short all-time highs. Couldn't agree more. Ochlo? Yeah. If it ain't all-time highs, it's cheap. Still in with 2 after taking partials at 80. Hell yeah, brother. 1 full year sharing live trades with this level of transparency is honestly incredible for traders like me still learning. That's why we do it. Or I mean, I know you want an account too, so I hope you do well on that. But it's just being transparent, showing how traders actually are. I show all my trades live. You'll see losses, wins, whatever it is. You'll see it. You'll see me execute poorly. You'll see me execute flawlessly. And it's just being transparent. The main thing for this is just the educational aspect and the entertainment. We love vibing on stream. But no, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of hours already done. Because we've done streams for what? 10, 11, 12 days plus the weekends at minimum 2 hours a stream. So probably with the extra hours, probably 140 hours of streaming already. Here we go. Flash crash coming on NQ and gold going to 4,700. Brother, if gold goes to 4,700 while we're on stream, god damn. I wish upon a star along the open. We all do. Just after 7 EST, you took along? Okay, so around here somewhere. Beautiful trade if you're still in or if you got out on the way. Beautiful. Yeah, gold's fighting here a little bit. Oil is pulling back, which is good, but gold is really fighting that New York high. What that tells me, though, is if we are able to break over this 80 area, we should see a volatile push. It's just going to be, are we going to break over that or are we going to pull back towards, where did I put my stop? 60? Yeah, today is technically the end of the month. Well, yeah, today's trading session, but tomorrow. But yeah, I think that's what you meant. That's crazy. NQ is up almost 1%, and YM is down 0.25%. That chart is getting smoked. Took long on NQ past my eval. Hell yeah. A lot of y'all are passing evals today. No, David, I wouldn't touch. Me personally, no, I wouldn't touch the NASDAQ. Someone who loves trading the NASDAQ and loves buying higher lows and knows exactly how it moves like every single day you trade it, if you like it, rip it. For me, though, that's not necessarily a buy because we are up almost 400 points off the open in 2.5 hours. For instance, if that was New York, people would look at that move and go, holy shit, what just happened? Thanks, Johnny. Oh, no, beautiful long for you. Yeah, that was beautiful long. AXP, I think there's still a lot of potential for gold. I got to see what the monthly looks like again. Yeah, I mean, the monthly just looks like shit no matter what way you look at it, right? Inside bar in the middle of the range, eh. I'm focused more on the weekly. If this thing wants to rip tomorrow to try to get a strong weekly close in the next 2 days, it has opportunity to. Do I think we're going to rip through 4,700 tonight? No. Do I think there's a chance it can? Yeah. But it's one of those things where it could happen, not it should. We've barely even moved on gold compared to the overall structure of it. There's a 1% chance they let NQ close above 650. I'm going to be honest. If we gap into all-time highs tomorrow, I think tomorrow could be that like holy shit day. Or at least sometime between now and Friday afternoon. We could have that holy shit day where the market goes up 3% and everyone just starts calling, their grandma start calling asking if they should buy stocks. That day, I'll be like, all right, at some point this bubble's going to bust. 400 points is crazy during Asia session. It's catching a little FOMO. David, if you caught the trade you wanted to catch, fuck FOMO, dude. FOMO's a fugazi. FOMO's all in your head. See you later, trade. Have a good one, brother. Yeah, if you guys haven't already, I don't know how many likes we have. 85. We need to at least get that over 100. This charts, the market's ripping. There's trades everywhere. We need to get 15 more likes minimum. So if you're enjoying the content, appreciate what we do. Appreciate us being on Project 365. Like the stream. If you're not subscribed already, subscribe. We hit the 31K subs. Love you guys for that. The support has been insane. Like, I couldn't even imagine regularly streaming to 200 people every night at 8 to 10 p.m. at night. Y'all are as crazy as I am. But look at the QQQ chart. All right, we'll take a gander. Oh. What am I looking at? Daily higher low triggered a buy setup, and it's now going to gap up here. I mean, I think this thing can rip easily. If I saw this close, we have a daily buy. Did I just drop? Did I just lose stream for a second? For a second? Fucking Wi-Fi. Guys, don't live in the middle of nowhere. I got 2 Wi-Fis. Both of them love to cut out. Will there be a giveaway today? At the moment, no. I don't have a code. If I had a code, I would. If Jake pops in and says, yeah, we're doing it, we're doing it. But for now, expectation is no. We got to chill out a little bit. Let Jake's pockets refill for a little, and then we'll go ahead and rip. Appreciate you, David. Yeah, no, we notice how many of you guys are in every single stream, or at least multiple streams. There's a lot of you that rock every single stream with us, and it means the world. Fomo's for guys. Yeah, Willis, that is a beautiful quote. Johnny, you know why that is? And Johnny said Asia price action has been pretty good the last few days, considering. Yes. Late last week, I saw someone make a reel saying the Asia session's dead. No one trades it anymore. That's how you know it's back. Second someone starts talking bad on it, you know it's back. Most options are up 9,000% from the March lows. Damn. No, it's me because my internet is like my personal one that I use is the AT&T like home internet. So it's cell signal. That's the one I was on yesterday where it buffers occasionally. And then my brother's, it's just storming outside. So occasionally it'll pop. What can cause the NQ to go so high without filling any gap? J King. What caused it to go so high is Mag 7. Today we had Microsoft, and I'm just going to pull up some of these. Microsoft's flat, so I'm not going to pull that one up. So let me go to this, do this, put this on, extended hours. Oh yeah, the Qs are ripping. But we look at Microsoft. Microsoft's relatively flat. It's not up a lot, right? Then we go towards Amazon. You have a $3 trillion company ripping for earnings. Then we go towards, I think Meta got smoked, right? Yeah, Meta got crushed. Then we have Google, another $4 trillion company ripping for earnings. And then I believe Qualcomm, which isn't going to have as big of an impact, it's up like 14%. But a lot of big techs rallying right now based off the Mag 7 earnings that came out. Robert, it's just props. The command should all work. Is the bot not working? Let me see. Do I have to reconnect the bot? There we go. It's back. Note, I did change all of the Instagram commands. Now it's just exclamation point, that person's name. So for me, it's exclamation point Ranji. Rake, exclamation point Rake. Mitch is just Mitch. Lamelli is just Lamelli. And Alan is just Alan. So now you don't have to type Insta before it. So if you want anyone's Instagram, just type exclamation point, then their name. All the other ones are exactly the same. I just wanted to make it easier. Axe, what's got you shorting at 27,600? I mean, you basically, if it works and this is the top, you shorted the top. I just, like, as we're breaking all time highs again, that's just hard for me. But if you see something, rock with it. Yeah, Robert, that's why I do it, to make it easier for people. You guys can also do the commands. If someone asks, if Alan's on by himself or something, or if Mitch is on by himself, you guys can always just shoot the commands in there to help out. Yeah, if you want any of the prop firm discounts overall, exclamation point prop, we'll give you Jake's website with all the prop firms. NQ does not seem to have a top. That's why I'm not shorting. Check Discord after stream. Bad brother. Remember, there's only one top. Yeah, I mean, the reason I won't short right now is I'm not going to be shorting the top, hoping the top quits topping. Because every single time someone's tried to short on the broader perspective, this thing keeps going. Like I said, if you want to short, look towards the YM. Look at this relative weakness compared to these. YM is 22 points above its open, and it's a $49,000 name. At the same time, NQ is 400 points above its open, and it's still going. Gold did hit that 78.50 area again that I got filled at before. We'll see if we can get above it. YM is a problem right now. It is. Gamma balance at 26,800. AXP, I don't know what that means, but maybe Mitch is the guy to have that conversation with. Because I don't know what the hell gamma balance is. If you say the word gamma, Mitch comes out of the woodworks like a gnat. He's like, hey, what you talking about? David, the second I saw Jake post that Interstellar clip on Instagram, I told him it's the greatest reel I've ever seen. And there's a reason it has over 1 million views and it's still going. Dealers become sellers here. We'll see. All I know is that chart is strong. At some point, are we going to get a broader consolidation or a pullback after this move? Yeah. Remember the one thing Jake's looking for too, to find the overall quote unquote possible top in the market. That extreme holy shit day that ends up failing during the New York session. When that day comes is when I'll be more interested in, all right, we might be able to look at some broader term shorts. Yeah, Ochlo, I know that. I'm not super diverse in gamma. Mitch has tried to tell me a bunch about it. I know a little bit, but there's a lot to learn there. Mitch, have you ever traded NDX? I've seen people that have traded it. I've looked at the options, and I know I'll never trade that name in my entire life. Because I think those options are like $5,000 each minimum. Yeah, NDX is like crack. You know who used to trade NDX? That's the only reason I think I know it is, was it Kevin Trades? I believe he used to always trade that. I want to see 10 more points on gold, but I'm not like it desperately has to get there. We're struggling a little bit right now, which I'm fine with the consolidation. Like I said, we're just fighting New York's highs. But if we get over New York's highs, that's where I think a lot of continuation can go. I'm going to do this because I did get that trim there, and then I'll just throw another one up. Interesting. Yeah, I'm just reading all the stuff in chat you guys are saying about why you think it might possibly be the top. Liquidity is crap, right? Huh? Oh, on NDX, yeah. There's not a, I mean, NDX is going to be nowhere close to SPX. Yeah, darn. Kevin Trades the scammer. Yep, good old Kev. I never met him. I never talked to him. I'm not affiliated with him any chance. I just know of him. When you trade gold, do you look at silver? I don't. I barely trade gold enough to look at gold. Silver's something you can look at. I'm never going to trade silver. Or at least I have no interest in trading silver anytime soon. I know you could also look at platinum to look for the divergence, but for me, I'm just going to focus solely on gold. Right, we are trading gold, brother. We are. When I trade gold, I look at the screen personally. Same, Diego. I try not to look at it because usually my stop gets hit when I trade gold. So I just ignore it. I do a lot better. Who was it that short AXP? If you shorted the like 602, where's you putting your stop? I'm not looking to trade it. I'm just curious on your overall idea. 650. Okay, so you're running a little wide. So I'm gonna guess you're looking for a broader pullback through this range. I honestly can't believe how weak YM is right now. Even RTY is doing something. Is RTY up crazy? No, it's up 9 points. But YM is just struggling. Oil's trying to find a short-term support here at 106.5. I'm cautious of this being the top. But we'll see. Brian, if you trade MGC, it wouldn't be bad. On this trade, if you took 1 micro, it'd be well like $80, $70 per risk. That makes sense, Mitch. I didn't even think of that. Now, what if that was 10 minis? If you were in 10 minis, well, I have a chart that has 10 micros, so I can figure out exactly what that risk would be. We got in there, and the initial stop was 57. We take that. Where's the entry? 65. Okay. So up 1.5. So 57. I don't even know why I'm doing this math, but it would only be $8,000 of risk on 10 minis. Joe, I think you did your math wrong. But yeah, somewhere around there. Close enough. Either way, it's 5 figures of risk if you full port 10 minis. Oh, talking profit. Oh, I was talking risk. You should be up more than that because if risk, are we up 1.5? I don't know why I just drew that tool. Ignore me. 1.7. Yeah, so about 17,000. 7 minis on NQ is the most I ever did. That's how you know Mitch is just a baller. If I do 7 minis on NQ, I'm going to be in the fetal position in the corner, even if profit hits. Yeah, Ultra, we'll see. If it gets above 80, I think it has a lot of potential. Underneath it, the risk of it pulling back does grow, especially if the indices do start pulling back a little bit. I'd like to see if we can get a little more out of it. But if it does reject here and push back lower in towards, let's say, our entry area, the 4-hour can get pretty weak going into tomorrow. So you can see how long, hoping to hit 108. Good. This hourly worries me though. That hourly, I mean, you need to get up towards 108 before that hourly even closes, or else you're going to have a pretty weak close. It can easily recover though. I'm not saying it can't work. I wouldn't sleep 7 minis even on NQ. Diego, I wouldn't sleep if I was in 7 minis on NQ on an eval, let alone an actual account where I can make money. Second week post mastermind before you knew better. Hell yeah. I can tell you it's gonna be a long time before I'm trading that much NQ. I barely trade NQ as it is. I'm gonna move stop up to 68. For the rest of this trade, I plan to just trail stop. If it hits in profit, it hits in profit. So that is going up. There. I'm mainly just running it at this 5-minute low because if we keep rejecting off here, I really wouldn't want to see it below 74s. If it gets below 74s, we're probably going to go down to 68. You entered earlier in the hour. That's fair. Yeah, the hard part is with oil is just how aggressive it's sold off. It usually doesn't make super strong rallies and then just continuously hold. You'll see a lot of shit like this or like this, where you get a more aggressive pullback and then you eventually get the next leg. But it can't, like I said, it can work. Don't listen to me. Anyways, how y'all doing tonight? What'd you guys trade? I know some of you are probably in gold, out of gold, still trading gold. Some are probably in the indices. I know some of y'all are short. Gold looks nice. I took your trade instead of my dumbass trade. I'd be getting my first payout. Fuck. That's tough. I am front running 90 a little bit. I front run every target. If you know me, you know exactly what I'm going to do. Just noting that. Looking for the max move tonight? Hell yeah. I would love 660. I'll hold runners. I do have. So you guys remember the degen hours that we did? Before you even try, we're not doing it again. But I'm in gold. This is the first trade I've taken since that, and I'm in gold with like 5 micros, and I'm planning on just leaving it overnight, seeing if we can either get back to green on it or if I lose the $300. And it's currently up 900 off 5 micros. So I can't complain. Can I so long on Bitcoin? Oh yeah. Marquise, long from the bottom and up 32.5K on all accounts. Holy shit. Can I have $1? I'd love to hold one. I mean, I know I'm green, but holy fuck. Just passed a 50K flex with gold. Hell yeah. Dude, there's got to be, what, so far like 15 evals passed today just on this trade? I, by mistake, ran 5 mini on my 50K account on NQ thinking it was micros. It ripped to 6K, closed out. Holy shit, David. That's the only thing you have to watch out for is depending how you lost the money, because you got to make sure you don't do the micro scalping rule, which I think is kind of dumb, but that just means there were people gaming the system, making a shitload of money off 10-second trades. Anywhere up here, I like trims. I'm not desperate to hold till this. I have no problem getting out before that. This is a beautiful trade. Anywhere in this entire area. I'll even take some off here, 85. I don't care. I'll front run it by a lot. We're taking it. I do have runners. We'll see what the runners can do. Long position. It's probably annoying that I do this instead of just showing where trims are. Wait, why don't I just do that? Yeah, that would make a lot more sense. Now I delete that, and then I go here, and then we just go for the Gusta at 620. How we doing though, chat? What was that R? Nice little 2.5 R so far. Not too shabby. I'll take it. For trading gold and how it usually treats me, I'll take it. Each point on gold is 10 ticks, not 100. Anyways, like I said before, if you're enjoying the content, you like the streams, you like Project 365, hit the like button. It's the little thumbs up right underneath the stream. If you want to show love in chat by hitting a little heart, feel free. But it just helps us grow, helps us get more reach, helps us get more of you beautiful people in the chats. So like the stream. We're barely over 100 and we got almost 200 people in here. We lost like 40 when the stream dropped for 4 seconds, but it'd be like that. Mark Easy making a day what I made last year in props. Hey, one thing I will say is you making that in props in a year, you're doing better than most. You are doing a lot better than most. Johnny, right now, like 1,500 or 13. But I only have 2 left. What are your hobbies outside of trading? Lately, it's been watching streams because that's just what has taken up a lot of my time. But anything outdoors. I do play video games at night with my buddies. They're my high school buddies. We do it all the time. But no, usually in the summer, just being outside, four-wheeling, golfing, shooting guns, everything out here. We used to live by the lake, so I love doing shit like that. Eventually, I want to get a boat. I know they're expensive, but that's like when I splurge, I'm not buying a Lamborghini. I'm buying a boat. Even if it's like I'm not looking for a $500,000 boat. I'm just looking to get a boat because I grew up on the water. But no, anything outdoors. To tell the exact type of person I am as well, my brother just got a lawnmower because we haven't had one since he got this house. And dude, I'm so excited to use it. I don't know why. It's gonna be sick. Joe, I can give you 2 types of answers. One is going to be the honest answer, and the other is going to be the answer that like I should give you. Me trying to get my first payout was just burning accounts, losing a shit ton of money. A metric fuckload of money. Chasing that payout, looking for the dopamine hit. Buying 5 evals on Apex to the moon. Another 5 to the moon. Gone. I think in the beginning I went through 100 Apex evals. I think I went through like I think I went through like 70 before I got a payout. So my first payout was not, I don't think it was technically profitable. So what was it, like 70 times 40? No. So even with the funding fees after a payout, I wasn't break even. What up, Connor? How you doing? But like I said, I've been open about it. I've been open about everything about my trading. In the beginning, I was a DGen, and it's just how it is. If I if I also had a mentor in the early stages, I wouldn't have lost nearly as much as I did. But I lost a lot. So stops there. I'm still perfectly fine with stop being there. I'm gonna trail it up a little. Let's go 73. The problem is if we get any type of pullback, we'll likely hit that. What changed that mentality? What I did was because the thing with trading is some people probably have a significant other that's like being around them, supporting them, helping like talk through shit with trading. For me, I was just in my own little hole. I barely left my desk, just trading, trying to figure everything out. And I didn't really tell anyone about my trading. My family knew like I was losing money, didn't know how much at all. And it took me a while to figure out how to basically call myself out of my own bullshit. But I would journal every single day, write like exactly how I felt. And most of the time it would be, oh, woke up groggy today. The market doesn't look great. Don't be a hero. What did I do? Tried to be a hero. Got caught out on my own bullshit. I would look down at the end of the day, see that, and I'd blow my accounts. And then just eventually you get sick of your own shit. You can only do it so many times before you just get genuinely pissed off at yourself and start working on it. Yes, I want a yacht with a helipad. Would be pretty nice. Do I want the upkeep of that? No. Yacht with a helipad, you only need like what, $100 million to buy it? Does your brother trade? No, he does not. He's a machinist. I'd be happy to skip an outboard motor. You and me both, brother. Give me a dinghy and a motor, and I'm content. Give me something that I can fish off of. And if it's fast enough, I can throw an inner tube behind it. Then I'm really living life. Dream world, though, we just, we pitch in, we get a boat with 4 or 5 hundreds on the back. 42. I'm in. My grandpa has it's nothing like you guys are gonna think it is, but I think it's a 32-foot boat. I'd have to remember exactly what kind of boat it is, but it's old. Like it's a lot older. It's one of the ones where it has like a mini kitchen inside. He lives up on the lake in Michigan, on Lake Erie up there. But no, I grew up on the water. I grew up in Michigan, like right where the thumb is, but right on Lake Erie. And my entire childhood was just out on the water. That's why I love being near it. 1.5 million. Connor, you got that. How about you just get that and then we all come ride with you? What does the rest of the market look like? Because I might just get out. 15's got a little bit of an upper wick. I want to see how this 5 minute closes, but if the 2 minute pulls back much more, I'm going to close up. If we hold, get a little 5 minute fill to go lower, I think I just hold this and let it ride. Diego, you son of a bitch. Connor, I'm like all the girls that walk around the yacht clubs. If you got a boat, I'm on it. Yeah, honestly, Joe, you only blowing 8 accounts is phenomenal. Wait, when exactly did you start? January 2nd. That's not bad at all. I know you're probably thinking, 8 accounts, that's a shitload. I know people who have probably blown 40 accounts since then, and they've been trading for years. Hourly needs a bit more of a pop. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking at this resistance right here on the hourly that we're currently struggling against. I wouldn't hate the idea if we consolidate a little bit. I just don't want to sit through a pullback all the way down to like 73. The one thing I don't love is TradingView is lagging compared to Tradeovate. Good news though, the DGen Hours account is back from the dead. I had $320 in drawdown and it now has 1,300. So I can still try to pass that thing. There's a little bit of volatility. Oh, it's a 9 o'clock open. One thing I will say, the last 2 days, the 9 o'clock open has opened and the market has just straight dumped. So I'm watching out for that. And it's happened every single day the past 2 days at 9. Where's my stop? 73. So we got one trim here, one up here at the highs. I'll see if this continues to hold. I kind of want to just leave the stop where it is and let the chart do its thing. But if this 5 does get weaker, or this 2 gets weaker, could see a little more of a pullback. I might just leave it. Joe, if you can already pass an eval like it's nothing and you've only been trading for 4 months, that is insane. The growth there, you are like, it is just nuts. Lonely Island boys, I'm on a boat. What do we do with how crazy NQ is? Well, my game plan is not trading NQ. That's how I'm doing it. It's just when it moves like this, I'll just find something else to trade. If NQ's up 300 points in the first 20 minutes, I'm likely just going to find something else. Were there trades? Yeah, a lot of you caught this beautiful trade. We even called this out. I didn't take it, but it worked. – 9 o'clock is more volatile than 8. How do you wait? How do you fix on Tradeovate so you can see your loss and stop loss bracket or take profit bracket on the chart? When you go to the chart, you want to go to settings on the chart, and then you can usually set everything from there to make it easier. What are the indices doing? Indices looking like they might want to top a little. But so does oil. We're just getting a little bit of volatility, but it's not really going anywhere. I'm also going to slide this over so I can see the chart easier. Robert, once you understand how to use Tradeovate, it's fairly easy to use. The OCOs can be a bit of a pain in the ass. The one thing I will say is TradeC is by far my favorite because as you trim, it automatically adjusts the orders. Let's go, AXP. Beautiful. Yeah, you're up, what, like 20 points there? Maybe 30? Nice trade. Joe, you're not going to want to hear this, but you said, do you think it's just me being a bitch and trading scared on my fundeds? If you can easily pass an eval, that is exactly what it is. You probably don't want to hear that. You probably need to hear that. But if you're saying you can easily pass evals, that's what it is. And I've done it. Jason, what's my solution for revenge trading? Leave. I now can tell if I'm starting to feel that revenge trade because I'll want to start stabbing in the market. I rarely take multiple trades back to back. If I even think about doing it, I know I'm trying to revenge trade. Get up from your desk for 15 minutes. If you get up, go do something for 15 minutes, come back, you'll look at the market from a whole different perspective. And I do that immediately once I start feeling that. Or I'll just close my brokers and go do something. Go work out, go outside, touch some grass, breathe some fresh air. Just get away from the charts for at least like 10, 15 minutes. I don't like how gold's reacting. I can see the hourly being a consolidation, which could be the next hour of just doing nothing. We just broke the 15-minute low. The indices are slightly rounding. 5-minute, I would kind of want to see a higher low set. Because if not, if we don't start to set that in the 5 minutes, which we have 4 minutes left, I'm stalking to see if I want to just get out. I'm going to do something. It might bite me in the ass, but I'm just going to move this to 75. If it hits, and I'm out. Or double down. Appreciate you, futures. You have any videos to watch to get Tradeovate down? Give me one moment and I'll throw it in chat. Because I do have a walkthrough video. It's not like posted anywhere. It's just something I recorded and it's lurking on my YouTube. All right. If you need a Tradeovate walkthrough video, now mind you, this is, when did I make this? I made this in 2023. Tradeovate hasn't changed since, but all the numbers are going to be different. But that is the video to the Tradeovate walkthrough that I made. I can make a new one. I probably need to. I'm up $5. Should I sell? Brother, you should retire. AXP, did you just say you trimmed 3? I'm just trying to figure this maths out real quick. So you trimmed 3 around here for 30, and your next target is, hang on, a little more. Here? Is that what the fuck you're telling me? First trim, 30 points. Second trim, 802. Good God. If you hold 3 minis to that, my brother, that's a hell of a trade. Yeah, bigger balls than I'll ever have at that point. Joe, that's a crazy comment. I didn't even read what you were saying that to. Let's get this past. Oh. David, revenge trading used to be mine as well. And that's why most of the time, like I started trading a little bit more when I started streaming, just because I'm actively looking at the chart. What I used to do is I would take a trade. If it lost immediately, I would just walk away for 15 minutes. And it would take me a while to really get in another one. But that's what I would do. I would usually take like 2 trades a day max. Now I'll take 2 trades a session depending on how I'm doing. Like if I take 2 and I lose during Asia, I'm not touching that account until the next Asia session, at least. I'm going to close up here. Yeah, I'm going to get out. Might bite me in the ass. Might rip. 5-minute close how I didn't want it to. So I'm getting out. If it rips, it rips. I'll find another entry later. We're closing up. I'll take 2.5R at the last trim. Full exit was around 1.7 on the runners. Beautiful trade. Can't complain. Joe, that's why I kind of got out. This looks like it's starting to more so roll over. It can consolidate for a while. I don't love this 15-minute break below with 4 minutes left. If it pushes back above and rips, it rips. I'm not in it, is what it is. Do I think the indices are going to roll over? I don't know. That's going to be time will tell type of thing. The hard part for me is my main short area that I've been watching for the past 2 weeks was 27,550 because that was a 20% mark from the lows. And we're there. Am I going to blindly short this? No. I'd be looking for more of a structure change. So far, this chart is aggressively strong. I'm not interested in shorts. Can shorts play out? Yeah, but that's not really what I want to do here. Gold can also still continue aggressively. I'm interested in new trades later on in it. I'm just not, I don't know. I just don't want to let this pull all the way back. $15-minute walk away helps drastically. And also set yourself a firm rule per account what you want to lose. Like for me, even on prop firms, I really don't want to lose more than 500 per account. Because if you lose more than that, you're really starting to pinch the overall drawdown in that account. And I'll just switch to a new account if I lose that. Oh, AXP, I'm glad you updated your trim to 700 points instead of 800. I hope, dude, for you, if you're holding 3 minis, I hope it hits. Do I think it's going to hit like tomorrow? No, but if you're swinging 3 minis overnight, I feel like you're more than capable of holding that. How do you journal your trades? You're actually looking at it. Because I rewatch all of these streams to find clips. I unfortunately still have to rewatch, I would assume, like 16 to 17 hours of streams. That's going to suck. But no, I rewatch all these and look at the trades. The only way I really, like, if I have just a normal trade, I don't journal it. And the way I look at trades is, let's say gold worked here and I got out right here, and then that's the low and it ripped. I'll just look back on it and see, all right, was there actual valid structure and what could I have done differently to see should I have gotten out? The one thing I probably could have done differently there if I wanted to continue holding was give it this 15-minute close. You just have to be willing to risk it pulling all the way back to that stop out or it going up. But waiting for that 15-minute close can do what it's currently doing. That could lead to the break back over the highs. And then you look upwards towards that 600, maybe even 620s area. So I usually just dive back into it and see, all right, what could I have done differently? What can I have done better? And that's my journaling. I used to journal a lot, but there's a point to me where technical journaling isn't necessarily going to make that much of a difference. A lot of the people that use journals on social media just do it so they can show their P&Ls. But for me, there's times I'll use it. If I get in like a big funk, I'll start journaling. While I'm just trading fine, I feel perfectly good about everything. I don't. How many we at, David? 123 likes. Y'all are slacking today. Slacking. We're going down. Yes, 2 days ago we hit 300. Yesterday we hit 200. Now we might hit 120. But now, if you enjoy the content, enjoy any Project 365, hit the like button. Help us get a bigger reach. Help us grow the streams. The bigger we grow, the more accounts we can give away. And the more we're actually able to do this. Remember, you guys are quite literally why we do it. Using code RT or code RAKE at all prop firms helps support us. Jake funds this thing out of his pocket. Y'all saw how many alpha accounts he's giving away on yesterday's stream. It's nuts. Yeah, Christian, that helps a lot. Oh, Joe, there's more than 40 in here that technically haven't liked it. Because that's throughout the entire stream. There's been a decent amount of views throughout the entire duration. Yeah, so like right now there might be like 50 to 60 in here that have liked the stream on the high end, maybe. I just hammer one and done if I win the first trade, and two and through if I lose two, or one on the second trade. But sometimes I feel like a bull and I see red. Yeah, David, that's just understanding your emotions. So at that point now, as soon as you start to see that little bull part or like just feel it, because I'm at the point where if I'm gonna tilt or if I'm gonna do something dumb, I know in my gut, and I just start getting slightly irritated. I'm like, all right, this isn't gonna go well if I stay here, and I just get out. Yeah, HP, I agree. How long do you plan on holding it? Like, are you looking for that tomorrow, or do you hold through the overnight Globex close? Yeah, remember too, I'm more of a day trader. I would like a 150 point move on NQ for me would be phenomenal. I've never held for 700. One day, maybe. I'm really good at holding options, not so much futures. Tomorrow, market close with Apple earnings. Okay, bet. Wait, Diego, what was almost a snipe? His entry? Because he had a fire entry. It was right here, somewhere in there by like a point or two. I'd probably die if I had to hold the trade overnight. Easiest way to hold a trade overnight, set an OCO and sleep like a baby. That's what I do. Hold enough to where you don't care if it hits your stop or if it hits your take profit, and put your head on that pillow. I used to not sleep because I used to take 3 minis on my funded account overnight. What I would do instead of sleeping, I would just stare at the chart and see if it worked. What up, James? How you doing, brother? It was down there. Take a look. We have a gap that we left right below Tuesday's low. Do we? Tuesday's low, 700. We do. Oh, Sunday's gap. No, that's last week's gap. We never filled that. So that's kind of what you're targeting. Okay. Well, you're actually targeting a little bit below that. You're going here. Fire. Like I said, I hope it works. Either way, I'm assuming you're risk free now. Appreciate you, brother. I mean, oh, staying up all night, Joe? Yeah, when I did that, it would be my full time. The trading was my full time job. And there's been times where I've stayed up all night, traded, did what I need to do in the morning, and then just slept through the market. And then just woke up at like 3 p.m. My sleep schedule used to be destroyed. I mean, it still kind of is. Y'all know that. But it was worse. That's the thing with trading too. You pick what shift you want to work. If I want to miss market open every day for New York, sleep till 11 a.m. and go to bed at 4 in the morning, just because I love trading. Like I love trading the night session. Between 7 p.m. and like 2 a.m., there's amazing price action. And I love trading it. I like it trading it more than New York on futures, 100%. So I have no problem staying up late to trade it. Took off 1.5K profit. Hell yeah. It is slow. Connor, I like the slow though. I don't know why. I like slow markets. Like right now, gold is moving pretty slow. Probably got out earlier than I should have, is what it is. But so is the indices. I love slower trending markets because you can just get in the trade and let it do its thing. 100%. Would I love to be in a trade that does this? Yes. But I fucking hate being in a trade that does this. I don't mind overall range. I don't like 300 point ranges. Now, mind you, that was tech earnings. You're going to see that, but that happens in New York quite often lately. My A plus setup, I mean, I'm not, it's mainly just multi time frame analysis, making sure all the time frames agree with each other, looking at the overall structure. If all of them are there, you're going to find your setup on the lower time frames, which leads to a trigger, like a 5 minute trigger leads to the 15, to the hourly, to the 4 hour, to the daily. That is going to be my like A plus plus setup that I will take 100 times out of 100 with the largest size I'm comfortable with. Stop loss fully depends on the structure. I always run a wider structure at first or a wider stop at first. But if you got in this trade, and I talked about it, if this was a yes, I might have had a stop like right here. For me, since this gold's a little more volatile, I'm going to run a wider stop in the beginning and then let it cook. But no, stop loss fully depends on structure. Targets depend on structure. Was Jake my mentor? Yes. I met Jake towards the later end of my first year of trading. And then he's the only person that I've taken a course from. Someone please give Trump his phone. You want me to start tweeting? If this does reject here, I'll be ecstatic that I got out down here, even though it did rally 4 more points. If we sit in a consolidation or pull back even more, I'm happy. But while we're getting towards the end of the stream, anyone got any questions? I'm still in gold trade. You called it earlier too, so I'm long gold, short NQ. Fuck, one of them's gonna work. I mean, so far you should be doing pretty good, brother. Depending how much gold you got, gold should be up pretty nice. Oh, I didn't even realize that was 20 points. All right, what would you guys say? I'm just curious. I want everyone to answer. They're like, if you trade gold, I want you to answer. If you took a gold trade, what point number that you got out at would you be like, that's a fire trade? Took 20 micros, took 10 off. Hell yeah. But if you're in gold, what would be like, that's an absolutely fire trade? And I'm beyond happy with it. What up, Carlos? $50 points. I'm happy in gold. Oh, so I'm just a little bitch. Got it. Noted. Appreciate that, David. Appreciate that. 20 points. All right. I love asking it because some people will say 10, some will say 15, some will say 85. And you just see the different characteristics of everybody. 50. So a lot of 50. Okay. So what are we doing in the market? The YM still hasn't moved, dude. I'm content with 10, very happy with 20. Love that. Absolutely love that. Yeah, I mean, that's how I am with ES. I'm content with if I get like 12 to 15, I'm content. If I can get over 20, 25, I'm beyond happy with it. Because I usually trade longer with options. For me, ES is going to be like my first target's normally out inside of Asia session. Sometimes it's a little lower depending on my stop and structure. I love trimming for 15 points. Like if I could pick one target every time in one stop, it's going to be 5-point stop, 15-point target, as long as the setup allows it. And that would be first trim. Then I usually trim like 10 to 15 points after that. Next year, I'm full porting my funded. All right. Joe, there's two things there. First, if the trade loses, not my fault. If the trade wins, not only is the prop firm taking 10%, I will also take 10%. Appreciate it. For GC, I'm still learning gold. This, you guys probably just saw my 5th trade ever on gold. I thought 20 points was good. I'm content with it. I'm also still figuring out exactly how well it moves. Do I think 2.5 R is crazy? No, especially not on gold. Gold's volatile. I would say like 40 would make me overly happy on gold. 20 is like that's a really nice trade. And then 10 would be like, all right, it's a trade. You couldn't pay me enough to take someone else's trade. You have the right mentality, my guy. You have the right fucking mentality. Number one thing you should never do in trading is signal farm. Never follow every single one of someone's trades. Even me. I mean, there's trades, like if you're in the Discord, there's trades I can't post because they move too fast. Or there's one day I could do bad on stream. Like, what was it? Monday was my red day. Monday, I lost on stream. I ended up green overall because I traded London session. If I wasn't live streaming, posting those trades, and you only followed my trades, you'd be red and I'd be green. No, there's nothing wrong with getting in the same trade as somebody as long as you have, like you said, have your own why. If you have a trade plan, you have a why you're in that trade and why you like that trade, 100% I would take it. This might be a decent spot if gold does hold where it ends up rallying. And I do like 600 to 620 for the next overall target. Remember, I'm not in anymore. I got out. Diego, the I hope is a really big thing there. There's a really big thing there. But no, you can usually tell by someone's personality, depending if they're all salesy and stuff. And that's the thing for me. I don't have a single thing to sell. I ain't got shit to sell. Now, will I talk about the stuff that helps keep Project 365 afloat? 100%. The other 10 coming off at 4660. I mean, it looks like it wants to go. It might just go. If it gets above here, it can squeeze. 660. So what is you targeting 660? Because I know me personally, if I held, I would have been looking for 620. I'm just trying to look at the charts to see what's around 660. You probably have another reason for it. Okay, so there's a really big pivot from back in January. And then we respected it again in April. Interesting. I'm new here with Project 365 and exactly what you're looking at. It is this YouTube, us streaming. There's 5 of us. We all stream every single day from Sunday to Friday, depending on the sessions, obviously. Me and Alan stream Sunday. Everyone else streams Friday. I don't stream Friday because the market's not open. Couldn't you have re-entered? I could have. Nicholas, usually if I get out of a trade, unless I'm just absolutely dying to stay in the trade, then I'm not going to stab back in. That's just how I trade. I caught what I caught. If I executed poorly, I'll look back on it and readjust, figure out what I could do differently next time. Because I'd be more irritated if I got back in this right here and it just slammed out. PT hit, hell yeah. But Project 365, there's 5 of us that stream. I am the Asia Open, so that's 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Usually later though, like it's 9:30 right now. Alan is 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Mitch is on, is it Tuesday, Thursday, I believe, for Mitch, which is going to be 6 a.m. to like 8. Jake runs 8 a.m. to 11. And then Christian runs 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Usually we're all streaming 2 hours a day. Me and Jake typically stream longer. Mitch really can't because he runs into Jake's. Alan really can't because he runs into the market close. Or no, Christian really can't because he runs in the market close. Alan can't because the man needs sleep. Got a piece of the pie, moved on. Yeah, that was my whole mindset for this. Would it have been great to get an extra 5 points? Yeah. I'll catch you next time. I'll be here every day, brother. Sunday to Thursday. Market open for Asia. I don't trade the first hour. On Sundays, usually Jake will pop in the first hour. But no, I trade. This is not even joking. Like when I said this is probably the 5th time I've traded gold, it's probably the 5th time I've traded gold. See you later, Mitch. I'm probably hopping off in a minute. I love to trade ES. I'll trade NQ a little bit, but ES and oil are the main 2 that I usually watch. I like watching all 6 though. I'll trade all 4 indices, gold and oil. See you tomorrow, Diego. Yes, sir. But if anyone has any last minute questions, feel free to throw them in chat. If not, I'm going to go ahead and I think we're going to close up. See you, Fat Cat. I think it's a great time to wrap it up. Because if gold keeps going, I'll be like, damn, that sucks. But it probably will. How high do you think you're going? I mean, we have open skies. We have open skies. You got to remember too, ES has been consolidating for, that's the wrong thing. I need this one. 9 days. If we break out, 7,300 is not crazy. I don't think 7,500 is crazy. And people are going to think I'm delusional for saying that. But I don't think 30,000 on NQ or 7,500 on ES are insane. If the buying pressure continues. All right, I think that's it for questions. So I'm going to go ahead and let's wrap it up. I'll be back on tomorrow. Last stream of the week for me. And then y'all know the stream times for everyone else. Y'all have a great rest of your night. And we'll see you tomorrow night.